Welcome to another deep dive. We always love hearing what stories you're curious about, and this one's really caught our attention.
It's so heartwarming, isn't it?
Yeah, Nigel Toeg's Doggie's Last Day. Really charming. So it follows this dog, Doggie, who thinks he's on the verge of a big move, leaving his village behind.
Ah, the innocence.
Right. And his reaction. He decides to take a farewell tour, a chance to say goodbye to all his friends and familiar haunts. And that's where our deep dive begins. We're not just looking at a cute dog's adventure, though. We're going deeper, trying to understand how Doggie sees change, what his friendships mean to him, and what makes a place feel like home.
I think there are some universal truths we can all relate to in there, regardless of whether we walk on two legs or four.
Exactly. We're aiming to uncover those insights, those little nuggets of wisdom from Doggie's journey that might resonate with anyone facing a big change in their life.
Transitions are never easy, are they?
Definitely not. So Doggie overhears the news about moving the night before, and his initial reaction is so poignant. It's not panic or confusion, but this purposeful, almost melancholic desire to say a proper goodbye.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It kind of reveals something about how we, even as humans, approach change. There's this inherent need for closure, a way to find meaning even in the face of upheaval.
Absolutely. And his first goodbye is with Francis the Fox. Now, this little chat is packed with perspective. Doggie, reflecting on Francis's life, how he's always on edge, concludes that it's much harder being a fox than a dog.
So simple yet so profound, right?
It is. This simple observation from Doggie speaks volumes about how our own experiences, our own realities, shape how we see the world.
It's a powerful reminder that our concept of difficult is relative. Doggie, content in his loving home, recognizes the constant vigilance and challenges Francis faces. It makes us, the listeners, appreciate those often unseen comforts and securities in our own lives.
It does. And Francis's reply, never nice to have a last day. It sounds so final.
Right, that just hits you right in the feels, and it's something everyone, everywhere, understands. Endings are tough, and there's something about that finality, no matter who you are, that just resonates.
It's such a small moment, but it packs this huge emotional punch. Okay, moving on. Doggie's walk takes him down memory lane to his first day in the village, and, it's endearing. Chris, his owner, makes this huge fuss about presenting him with a wrapped special present, which, let's be honest, was clearly a bone.
Oh, the classic bone reveal. You can almost picture it.
I know. And Doggie sees right through Chris's act, that exaggerated surprise.
Yep.
Doggie finds it hilarious. I mean, come on, it's a bone. Why pretend? But it's cute.
It is. And this memory, it might seem lighthearted, but it actually reveals a layer of their bond, don't you think? Dougie's amusement at Chris's antics shows how well he knows him. It speaks to how our pets develop this keen awareness of our quirks and routines.
It's special, that kind of understanding.
It is. Okay, so later, Doggie spots Stanley the Whippet, engaged in his usual, ball-chasing frenzy. Doggie, ever observant, can't help but notice Stanley's lean physique compared to Andy, his owner, who, well, let's just say Andy's enjoying life a little too much, right?
A little bit, yeah. And then they get to talking, and the conversation drifts to the never-ending game of fetch and Andy's new ball-throwing gadget. I mean, talk about modern times, right?
It's a sign of the times, for sure. But it also highlights how differently people experience routine. We see Stanley almost resigned to this endless cycle of fetch, while Andy's turned to technology to keep things, shall we say, interesting. And then there's that line from Doggie, your Andy's put on a lot of weight. I mean, that's the kind of unfiltered honesty you only get from a close friend, or in this case, a dog.
Oh, definitely. That blunt observation is pure comedic gold. And then, to make things even more relatable, they find common ground, complaining about their owner's online shopping habits.
It's a funny little detail that grounds this whole story in the everyday, Totally. It reminds us that even these seemingly simple creatures are tuned into the world around them, the same little absurdities we all deal with.
Right. And then comes Howard the Rabbit with his signature, how's it going? Their shared memories, like swiping food at Farmer Ben's picnic, and the whole hosepipe incident with that grumpy hair, Roger.
Yeah.
They paint a picture of their shared history and all the little dramas of village life.
It's lovely, isn't it? These little anecdotes demonstrate how rich even a seemingly simple community can be. Their mischief together, their shared past, it bonds them. And there's also this intriguing moment where each considers the other's way of life. Howard, briefly, wishes for the comforts Doggie has, while Doggie acknowledges the value of Howard's freedom. It's deep, really, for a quick chat.
They both realize the grass is always greener.
Exactly. Different strokes for different folks, as they say.
Okay, so next, Doggie visits Maybelle, the old pony at Old Thorpe Farm. This encounter is a real turning point, I think. Maybelle, who moved to the farm after a career in racing, offers Doggie these profoundly comforting words about adapting to a new place. And then she shares this really touching story about her bond with a nervous racehorse named Fred and how she helped him become a champion.
It's such a powerful moment, isn't it? Mabel's own experience provides this invaluable perspective on change, on the long game. The story of Fred beautifully illustrates the power of empathy and how even in unfamiliar situations you can find your place, make a real difference. And her reassurance to Doggie that his new home will feel familiar and safe eventually. It's a message we all need to hear sometimes. It's about hope and resilience.
Yeah, it is. And then, boom, out of nowhere, Doggie sees the Boldens, the butcher, and his family.
Right.
But Ryan, their son, he's glued to his phone, totally oblivious, and there's this van reversing. Oh, it's terrifying. Doggie barks to warn him, but that's not enough. He actually pulls Ryan back by his trousers, saving him from being hit. It's incredibly heroic.
It's a true testament to Doggie's character. This instinctive act of bravery, it goes beyond loyalty. It's a demonstration of the strength of community, how we look out for each other, even across species. And the Bolden's gratitude, John giving Doggie a bowl of the best steak, it reinforces how much these connections matter, how much we value selfless actions. They just get him, like they understand that he was there for them and they want to be there for him.
Yeah, it's this lovely exchange of appreciation. And then I love this part. Doggie's mind drifts to this random memory of meeting Gerald the camel from a traveling circus.
Out of the blue, a camel.
Right. And Gerald's baffled that Doggie doesn't know what a camel is. The whole exchange is hilarious.
And of course, Gerald being Gerald, he invites Doggie to the circus.
This memory adds a touch of whimsy to Doggie's day, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It breaks the potential for the day to become solely focused on the sadness of leaving. It's a nice reminder that even when things are changing, there's still room for wonder and new experiences. And it speaks to Doggie's open nature. He's not afraid of the unfamiliar. Right. And oh, that circus was something else. Doggie remembers it vividly. The ringmaster, the acrobats, the jugglers, Gerald's awesome dance. And he gets so into it, he starts barking like crazy during Gerald's performance, which initially freaks out Mara, his owner. And then there were the clowns and the grand finale with the horses.
It's a sensory overload in the best way possible. Doggie's enthusiasm, his barking, it's pure joy. It's a reminder that even amidst transitions, moments of pure happiness and connection can pop up.
Absolutely. Next, Doggie visits Jeb, the garage dog. Now, Jeb, thanks to village gossip, probably through Chap, Stanley already knows about the move. Their chat is much more lighthearted. Jeb teases Doggie about saying goodbye to everyone, especially hinting at Babette, the French poodle.
Mm-hmm.
He's convinced Babette's got a thing for Doggie, but Doggie's not so sure. I think she's a bit too fancy for him.
Young love, or at least the potential for it.
Right. And Jeb is totally playing the role of the well-meaning friend, giving Doggie a little nudge. His suggestion that Babette might have feelings for Doggie, even if Doggie doubts it, brings up the idea of missed opportunities, how we make assumptions about others, and that line from Jeb about it being too late now. Classic.
It's that blend of humor and pathos that really gets you.
It does. So moving on, Doggie runs into Esme, the dog behind the Red Lion pub. Esme shares her own incredibly moving story. She arrived in the village with amnesia, taken in by the landlord. The view from their spot, it means the world to her, a symbol of her new beginning after a time of loss.
Esme's story parallels Doggie's situation, but from the opposite end. She represents a fresh start born from uncertainty, while Doggie's facing the end of a familiar chapter. And her deep attachment to the view highlights how places can become imbued with personal significance.
They mark those key moments in our lives, good and bad.
They do.
Okay, and then it happens. The unexpected encounter. Doggie meets Babette. He'd heard the rumors about her being snooty, but she greets him warmly, expressing regret that they never really got to know each other. And Doggie admits he wishes he'd tried harder, that he was swayed by hearsay.
This moment is so relatable. It shows the danger of believing everything you hear and the importance of forming your own opinions. Both Doggie and Babette let preconceptions get in the way of a potential friendship. And even though they missed their chance, Babette's warm bon voyage speaks volumes about her character.
She's not who they made her out to be.
Exactly.
It leaves Doggie with a bit of regret, I think.
A valuable lesson learned, though.
For sure. But then, as Doggie starts heading home, the mood shifts. He overhears Amy and Shirley at the bus stop, and they're whispering about his owners, talking about a bad situation and what will happen to Doggie. Yeah, you can feel the anxiety building. Suddenly, it's not just about leaving his old life. There's this new layer of worry, an unknown threat that's way more unsettling.
The unknown is always scarier.
Oh, definitely. And then, to make things worse, he gets home and the house is empty. The van, the car, everything's gone. And to top it all off, it starts pouring rain. Doggie ends up seeking shelter in the garden shed, feeling completely alone, wet, and miserable. It's heartbreaking.
That empty house is such a powerful image of loss and abandonment, at least from Doggie's perspective. And the rain, it just intensifies his emotional state, mirroring his inner turmoil. It's like all the familiar comforts have vanished.
It's heavy stuff. But then, finally, a bit of good news. Jim, the next-door neighbor, shows up. He explains that he's been asked to watch over Doggie because Chris and Mara had to rush off to their new place.
It's a partial explanation, but it's not the whole story, is it?
No.
Hmm.
And Doggie's still worried about what he overheard.
Of course. Jim's trying to reassure him, but there's this lingering uncertainty from that bus stop conversation. It just doesn't add up.
Right. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Hmm.
And then the phone rings. Jim picks up. It's Chris. And his reaction, "What's that? Say that again? No, you can't be serious. Something big has happened."
You can hear the shock in his voice, the disbelief. It immediately tells the listener that this is more than a simple move. It ramps up the tension, making us realize the bad situation is way more serious than anyone initially thought.
And then Jim spills the beans. He's talking to Angela, explaining what happened. When Chris and Mara arrived at their new rental house, they discovered it had been damaged by a fire, a serious one that made it unlivable.
Finally, the missing piece. We understand the bad situation, the rushed departure, everything. It reframes the whole day, shifting our focus from Doggie's sadness to this bigger shared experience.
It's a complete plot twist. And Doggie, he overhears this whole conversation. And the relief that washes over him is palpable. He knows Chris and Mara are safe, that he's not being abandoned, and the move, it's off.
That relief just emphasizes how deeply he's attached to his home, to his people. He thought he was losing everything, and now he's been given a second chance.
He gets to keep his whole world.
Exactly.
And it hits him hard. He's overwhelmed with happiness, with a newfound appreciation for all the things he almost lost.
It's a reminder that sometimes it takes the threat of loss to truly appreciate what we have. Like, we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we forget how much we rely on those seemingly mundane aspects of our lives.
It's true. So, wrapping up our deep dive into Doggie's last day that wasn't, it's about so much more than just a dog's farewell tour. His journey, even though he thought it was an ending, was filled with these heartfelt goodbyes, reflections, and acts of kindness. It really underscores those deep connections we build within our communities with both people and animals.
And I love how Dougie's encounters offered such diverse perspectives on life. We get the fox struggling to survive, Stanley stuck in his routine, Howard cherishing his freedom, Maybelle's wisdom from experience, even that missed connection with Babette. Each interaction adds a layer to Doggie's and our own understanding of the world. It's about seeing things from different angles.
Exactly. And that unexpected twist with the fire. It reminds us that life is unpredictable, that our best laid plans can be turned upside down in an instant. But it also highlights the resilience of relationships, the comfort we find in familiar places. And Doggie's overwhelming relief. It's universal. It speaks to that deep-seated human and animal need for belonging, for a place to call home.
And that brings us to you, our listeners. Doggie's last day prompts a really interesting question. What are those little everyday things in your own life, those seemingly insignificant parts of your community, that you might only truly value if you were faced with losing them? Perhaps taking a moment to really notice and appreciate those connections, both big and small, that's the real lesson from Doggie's eventful day that ultimately wasn't a goodbye after all.
A reminder to be present, to be grateful.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.